Alright, let's jump into this deep water with this guitar lesson of this song by Seal. And I'm in standard tuning, and let's go. So, before I show you what I was playing right there, some of you might want to know how that beginning riff of the song goes, which is on the album, before that starts playing. And that's an E7 chord. Now E7 is like an E major without your third finger that you'd be using to hold down that E note on the 4th string on the 2nd fret. So it's going to sound like that instead of that. So E7, harmonics on the 12th fret, all 6 strings, and then a little fill right there. So what I'm holding down is the 4th and 3rd strings on the 9th fret. I want to make sure to leave the B string open, and I'm going to use my 1st and 2nd fingers to go back and forth between the 8th and the 7th frets right there. So it's going to sound like that. So you guys decide whether or not you want to play that or not. But if you want to start with that chord, this is also an E7. This is E dominant 7, which is also the same technical name of that E7 that we were playing a second ago. E dominant 7, E dominant 7 on the 7th fret. You're playing this by barring 5th, 3rd, 4th, the 5th through the 1st strings on the 7th fret. That's the E note that gives it the chord its name. And then the other fingers are going to be holding down the 4th string on the 9th fret and the 2nd string on the 9th fret. And all the other notes are going to be held down by your 1st finger on the 7th fret. And all I'm doing right there is picking those high notes. And going to a D major and an A major. And what I like to do at the end of that A major is go to an A sus2 right at the end. And that's played by taking off this note right here that you're playing with either your 4th finger or your 3rd finger if you're playing the A like that. So you're only holding down the 4th and the 3rd strings on the 2nd fret, open B, open high E, and of course the root note is the open A string. So then the verse starts. He starts singing, and that's E major to a G major to a D to an A major, and then do that A sus thing again. A major, and then this is F and G. So I think you got all that up to that point with the open chords, the E, G, D, A sus, and then they go back to D, A major. Now this F, I'm playing like this. And I'm making sure that that high E rings out. This is F major 7. and this is G major 7 with that high E ringing out. If you're having trouble playing it like that, you could play just a regular old F where I'm holding down the first and second strings on the first fret. It's going to sound good either way. I like this sound a little bit better. On the recording, if you want to, get hung up on the details, I actually think they're playing the full-on F chord, and this high E is not ringing out. Depends, up to you. It's going to sound good either way, but it is F and G. Now, after that comes the chorus. And the chorus is played with kind of the same chords that we played at the beginning of the song. That E7th in the open position to the D and an A, and that A sus. So those three chords, four chords all together. So let me play that so you can kind of hear how they all fit together. To the A, to that F, D, A sus 2. To the F. Now, I'm kind of embellishing a little bit by adding that A note on the high E string when I go up to that D chord. So up to you if you want to do that or not. But up here in a second, that is going to be a part of what you play. So after you get through that's like 2 choruses in a row, there's a break in the song, a breakdown, and when the guitar comes back in, things are sped up a little bit, and you're going to learn some new chords. So here we go. The first chord you're going to play is like an E major with your little finger on the B string 2nd fret. Okay? And you're going to play that G7 chord again. But this time you're going to go up to A. So it's going to be this E with this note right here. I apologize, I don't know the name of this chord. But it's just like an E major adding this note to the G and the A7. So it would be all I'm doing is adding a little bit of embellishment by adding the high E string. So this note on the 7th fret is a B when I slide up to the A, and when I'm down here on the G, that high E with my little finger is an A note. So up to you how you really want to, how much you want to, embellish with that. But the chord sequence is that. Back down. So that chord sequence is going to take you all the way through the next verse of the song after that breakdown, all the way up to the lyric, but you don't know how. And when he sings that, he's going to be playing a C major and a D major 7. So let me show you those chords. And actually, let me just make sure you understand that those chord sequences on that verse before. So it's. So I'm just picking, what sounds good with those chords right there. And that, like I said, that's going to take you all the way to the song where he says, but you don't know how. So, but you don't know how, that's C major, until you try somehow, that's D major 7. So D major 7 is just using your first finger to cover the G, B, and high E strings on the 2nd fret. And you're going to start strumming on the open D. Okay, so in this section of the song, it's going to go from the C major to D major 7, back to C major to E major, to C major, to D major 7, to C major, to E major. So hopefully you can see those two variations. One ends on D major 7, and then the other one on E major. So that actually goes up to the lyric, and then we die. And then the last part of the song is an outro, if you will. We will find a way, which is D, D, A, and C. And so it's kind of strummed twice on each chord. Actually hangs on C for a little while, right? Take a listen to the record. You can experiment with how much you want to strum and how, if you want to let it ring out. But those are the chords that you're going to play. And on the last one, I like to play the C add G, where instead of your 3rd finger holding down the C note, you're going to use your 4th finger and you put your 3rd finger on the G note, and you can kind of alternate, and fade out the song, alternating the C and the G and the bass note right there. So. That's it. So let me know if you have any questions, and talk to you later.